In the heart of a bustling town, there stood a little restaurant that attracted all walks of life. Whether you were rich or poor, it didn't matter. Mama Iyabo's chicken wings were the talk of the town. People came from far and wide just to have a taste. Her restaurant, tucked away in a narrow street, was always filled with the scent of spices and roasting meat. The tables were never empty, and the chatter of satisfied customers filled the air. But no one called her Mama Iyabo anymore. To everyone, she was Mama Wings, a name that symbolized her mastery in the art of cooking wings. It wasn't just about the taste though. It was something else, something people couldn't explain. Once you had a bite of her wings, you found yourself craving more. Day after day, week after week, customers kept returning, unable to resist the allure of her food. Her success grew rapidly, and while everyone marveled at how she turned simple wings into a delicacy, no one questioned how she managed to serve so many customers, even though there weren't many chickens in the market. Everyone was just too enchanted by her food to care. But Mama Iyabo's secret was dark, far darker than anyone could have imagined. Years ago, Mama Iyabo had been just another struggling cook in the town. Her food was good, but there was nothing extraordinary about it. Her little restaurant barely had enough customers to stay open. The rent was piling up, and she feared she would have to close her doors for good. One evening, as she sat in her empty restaurant, staring at the few unsold pieces of meat left in the kitchen, a shadow fell across the room. Startled, she looked up and saw a strange man standing by the entrance. His eyes were sharp, too sharp, and his smile was unevenly wide. "I've been watching you, Mama Iyabo," he said, his voice smooth but cold. "I see you are struggling. What if I told you I could make your restaurant the most popular in town? What if I could make your food so irresistible that no one could stay away?" Mama Iyabo, desperate and intrigued, leaned in. "How? What's the catch?" The man stepped closer, his eyes gleaming. "Oh, it's simple. I'll supply the meat, plenty of it, every day, fresh. But you must never ask where it comes from. All you have to do is cook it, serve it, and watch your business grow." "But," he paused, leaning even closer, "you must never let anyone know the truth. If you are caught, the consequences will be there." Mama Iyabo hesitated, but her desperation got the better of her. "I'll do it," she said, sealing her fate. With a snap of his fingers, the man vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a large sack of meat. And from that day on, her restaurant changed. What Mama Iyabo didn't realize at first was that the meat wasn't chicken at all. It was vulture. Vultures caught by the strange man who seemed more monster than human. He would bring her sacks of vulture meat every evening, and she would cook them into the most delicious wings anyone had ever tasted. The monster had cast a spell over the meat and her customers, making it impossible for them to see the truth. To everyone who ate at her restaurant, the vulture wings looked and tasted exactly like chicken. The town buzzed with excitement about Mama Wings' restaurants. The rich came, dressed in their finest, eager to dine in her humble establishment. The poor came too, scraping together their coins just for the chance to taste her famous wings. The restaurant was never empty, and Mama Iyabo's once struggling business flourished. But there was a price. The strange man, the monster, wasn't helping her out of kindness. Every month, she had to pay him, and the payment wasn't money. The monster's price was steep. Every month, Mama Iyabo had to give up something of herself, a piece of her soul. The first time he came to collect, she had felt a strange pull in her chest, like a piece of her heart was being torn away. But the more she paid, the more numb she became to the pain. At first, it seemed like a small sacrifice for the success she had gained. But as the months went by, Mama Iyabo noticed changes in herself. Her laughter became hollow, her joy faded, and her eyes, once full of warmth, grew cold. She was no longer the vibrant woman who had opened her restaurant years ago. The monster was taking more than just pieces of her soul. He was taking her humanity. But Mama Iyabo couldn't stop. She couldn't go back. The success, the wealth, the fame, it was all too much to give up. And so she continued, month after month, paying the monster with pieces of herself, hoping she would never be caught. For years, Mama Iyabo's secret remained hidden. The spell was strong, and no one suspected a thing. But as time went on, small cracks began to appear in the illusion. A few customers started to notice odd things, a strange aftertaste in the meat, an odd texture that didn't feel quite right. But whenever they tried to voice their concerns, the cravings for more wings overwhelmed them, and they brushed their suspicions aside. Until one day, a young boy named Dele, the son of a wealthy merchant, stumbled into the kitchen by accident. He had been playing outside the restaurant when he saw the back door open slightly. Curious, he peeked in, and what he saw made his stomach turn. On the kitchen counter lay a half-prepared bird, but it wasn't a chicken. Its wings were too large, its feathers too dark, and its beak. Dele gasped. It was a vulture. Terrified, he ran out of the restaurant. But before he could tell anyone, the monster appeared, blocking his path. "You've seen too much, boy," the monster hissed. With a wave of his hand, Dele's eyes glazed over, and he forgot everything he had seen. But the cracks were growing, and soon others would begin to see the truth as well. One evening, as Mama Iyabo was closing up the restaurant, the monster appeared once again. His smile was gone, replaced by a look of impatience. "It's time," he said, his voice cold. "You've paid me in pieces, but now I want everything. You can't run from your debt anymore." Mama Iyabo's heart raced. She knew this day would come, but she wasn't ready. She had thought she had more time. "Please," she begged, her voice trembling. "Give me more time. I will pay you whatever you want." But the monster shook his head. "The deal is done. Either you give me what I'm owed, or I'll take it." Desperate, Mama Iyabo tried to run, but the monster was faster. With a flick of his wrists, her legs gave out beneath her, and she fell to the ground. As the monster loomed over her, ready to take the final piece of her soul, something unexpected happened. The door to the restaurant burst open, and Dele stood there, his eyes clear, the spell broken. "I remember," Dele shouted. "I remember everything." The monster sneered, but before he could react, a blinding light filled the room. Dele's father, a man of great wealth and influence, had brought a group of priests to cleanse the restaurant of the dark magic. With a scream of fury, the monster vanished into the shadows, taking the spell with him. The illusion shattered, and the truth was revealed to everyone. The customers, once loyal and enchanted, saw the vulture meat for what it truly was: Horrified, they left the restaurant, leaving Mama Iyabo alone in the darkness. Her restaurant was ruined, her reputation destroyed, and her soul, what was left of it, was forever marked by the deal she had made. And so, Mama Wing's reign came to an end, a warning tale for all who heard it. The secret of her wings would never be forgotten, and neither would the price she had paid for her success.